Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Loan Plan Profit. Let's go ahead and get started with, let me just go ahead and go right over here. All right, looks like Diaz overall is doing a pretty good job now, showing signs a little bit more of an uptrend. I have my alert set here at 2280. If I take a little bit of a step back on this 20-day 1 hour, I also have my alert set once it breaks above $23 altogether. It's showing a little bit more of a reversal pattern. If you also take a look at /NG, it's also showing a little bit more signs of this curling pattern. Trying to keep it very simple, right? Looks like it's a little bit overextended. Looks like /NG is trying to pull back. Again, it does a very good job bouncing right around the SMA line, which is right around this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set my alert to remind me as it gets closer, where that is and how it is that I should probably cover and stuff like that. So I'm going to set an alert at 2.87, and we can just set that single alert when it breaks below that, and as it continues to descend. If it ends up breaking below that SMA line altogether, then it makes sense as well. So just doing this, and there we go, 2280. Again, natural gas with that solid sell-off again, right at that bottom VWAP. So I'm just gonna try to keep it pretty simple when it comes down to that. Looking like it's making current pre-market highs or market highs with how it was trading during pre-market hours. Let's go ahead and let's see how you guys are all doing today. What's going on, Don? What's going on, Sean, Paul, Logan, Amy? What's going on, guys? So I'm just going to start going down the list and seeing how these different. We can see that right now JNUG is showing signs of an uptrend. The thing that I found most attractive about JNUG is that it's getting very close to that specific price point, 1300, right? And 1300 was a previous support. Now most likely going to act as a new resistance. Do you guys see that? So right here, right around 1300, acting as a new resistance, and that's exactly what it is that I'm waiting for to break to ensure that JNUG is now starting to show a little bit more signs of an uptrend pattern, and I'm still going to want to try to treat it a little bit as a day trade. Again, just a friendly reminder that today there is a natural gas report, and usually based on previous patterns, D gas is the one that shoots down, and then U gas is the one that actually ends up pushing up, right? So let's just make sure that we take that into consideration. Second, there we go. We got T-Mobile, T-Mus, right, showing signs of an uptrend pattern. So we've been in that one for a little bit. Where's LABD? I'm gonna follow up with this one. So LABD just consolidating. Let's set the alert here. Not much volume going on here, so let's set those alerts. A little bit of a sell-off going on. At or below. HTZ trying to push up. Nice. DAL showing a little bit more signs of an uptrend. Let's try to focus on this. Okay, showing signs of a reversal, right? With this sell-off and showing signs of this reversal and this uptrend pattern. I like that. I'm trying to look for a potential good either day trade setup or a short-term swing trade. And there we got USLV picking up. Oh no, this is USLV. Getting rejected from 1021 right now, showing signs of a downward pattern. Trying to hold right around the middle VWAP, so not much going on there. LABD just broke below 28. That's good. This is the one that I day traded yesterday. So what I'm trying to look for is for when it begins to reverse back up. So I'm trying to see and be patient on that. So we could look at this like 20-day analysis. Not even that. I think that's still a little bit too much. And look at how you usually staircase up and see if there's any potential for a day trade on this, but no indication of an uptrend pattern just yet, so I'm going to try to be patient with this. Okay, so we got Gush now right at the support, right around $38, approaching that SMA line, which it's normally a support. Let's look a little bit further back, 90-day, 1 hour. Do you guys see this pattern? This overall SMA line usually acts as support, and it does a really good job doing that. You guys can see multiple times that it's done this. It doesn't mean 100% that it has to do this today as well. It just means that it does have a pattern of doing this, right? Excuse me. Let's set those alerts here. And then for all those that are wondering that maybe think I sound a little bit weird, I actually have a fever and a strep throat. That's the cool thing about trading, that you could still that you could still yeah, you could still trade. So just trying to have fun with it, right? Here we go. There we go. All right, LABD and both. So LABD and Gush showing signs of an uptrend as of right now. Again, Gush has a very consistent uptrend pattern. And the really nice thing about this one is that based on previous patterns, it does a really good job bouncing out around the SMA. If you find that Gush is a little bit overextended and you don't like that pattern too much, 100% understand that. That's why I have my alert set here at 20. Also, we can set our alert if it breaks below the overall SMA, which would indicate a break of pattern. So let's make sure that we take that into consideration as well. So where's that LABD? Okay. So again, do you guys see this upward staircase pattern, right? Boom, 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 right? Does that make sense? Oh, guys, I am good though. Don't worry about that. I just need to catch up on some rest. But I just need some Cane's sauce, some Cane's chicken fingers, and some chocolate milk. That would be nice. All right, so we see a lot of consolidation happening right now for something like Diaz, right around the middle VWAP and top VWAP. So let's go ahead and set those alerts for there to be more like of a uptrend breakout. So let's go here, and then obviously if there's a break of pattern, it would go below 270 as of right now. I like the pattern on Gush, even just for a day trade, right? Although it does have potential swing trade potential just due to this previous pattern, I personally think it's a little bit overextended, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But I really like the day trade. Oh my God, there it goes, LABD. And this is why it's so important to stay so micro focused. Give me one quick second. We're focusing. I feel like I'm focusing on a little bit too much right now, and I'm having trouble deciding what position to enter. Have you guys ever felt like that? Give me one quick second. Oh, Diaz just pulled back. So there we go. Diaz pulling back. Will it bounce off the, what's this range? Again, from bottom VWAP to middle VWAP. The risk that you take on going in here is that investing in it when it's actively trending down. So don't like that too much. Okay, so we now have a nice little pullback, push that, pull back. Let's see what we have going on here. And then LABD. So based on previous patterns with LABD, yesterday hit highs of about 29.36. So as of right now, even if we're able to hit those same highs, it's about 1.1 to 1.16% potential for profit. Not huge margins there, right? Right now, Showing signs of a potential reversal right here, showing about even less of a percentage growth. Now for Gush, let's see what we have going on here. Gush showing a little bit more margin or percentage potential for profit. Let's see what you guys have to say. Eat chocolate milk. Yep, that's what the doctor's order. You missed one alert. Yeah, I went ahead and I checked it. Thank you for that. What happened to SWN? Let's check it out. So SWN now showing signs of a potential reversal pattern. You can see that the candles are now actively trading below the overall EMA, right? It does have a green candle going on right now, so it might try to push back up, but as of right now, it's still getting rejected. So although this was showing some signs of swing trade potential, ended up breaking that pattern as when it was pulling back, ended up not bouncing and making higher highs, and that's something that we covered. So just a break of pattern, and when it breaks a pattern, not much value there. There we go. Again, I'm trying to look for a good setup. This might be something. Showing signs of an uptrend pattern, overall resistance right around the SMA indicator, but it still has the margin to be able to push to about 1050 based on previous patterns if we break above this certain resistance. /GC just broke above 1300, meaning that JNUG is now showing signs of an uptrend. LABD just broke above 2920, which is great for the call up that we had at 2880. Definitely missed on some margin there, right? But again, it normally tends to peak out at around 2930 to 2940. So for all those that are up and that ended up taking a position, just be sure to note that. The margin isn't enough still on JNUG. Holy moly. Making new highs. There we go. Made new highs. Congrats to all those that traded this. I'm jelly. There we go. Nice push. Makes a lot of sense. And again, do you guys see why it is that we saw value in this pattern? So this upward staircase pattern, again, just looking at yesterday's patterns and how it was trending, due to the overall pullback that it had, and it bounced right around 2880. Showed a very similar pattern to yesterday's, kind of pullback. So it made sense on why then when it broke above the EMA, again showing signs of an uptrend pattern, and being able to sell it right around the 29.30 to 29, 37 like we called out made a lot of sense. Right now it's looking like a little bit more on the overextended side, so it would make sense on why it would pull back. But again, if it has momentum going, then obviously it can continue to push up. It would just be, in my opinion, a pretty safe trade to, cover profits on and stuff like that as of right now. Wait for a pullback, and then wait for the pullback just like this. Wait for it to break above the EMA, and again continue to day trade it. So, okay, SPWR. SPWR. Okay, still showing signs of a downward pattern. Yes, it does tend to bounce right around the SMA indicator, but as of right now, showing no signs of a reversal. So if we can, Kenny, let's go ahead and follow up with this. And when it starts to show signs of an uptrend pattern, because as of right now, we're not seeing much of that. So let's go ahead and set those alerts and go from there. So. All right. Still showing signs of a downward pattern and still getting rejected by the SMA indicator, so I'd set your alerts at $17. And consider the idea of asking yourself, is it a day trade or is it a swing trade? So that's definitely something that you want to take into consideration. There we go, LABD with that pullback. Yep, I like it. Gosh, bouncing. So Gosh is still showing, /CL is still showing signs of a downward pattern. And I know this isn't a direct correlation over to Gush itself, but looking at Gush, it's still showing signs of almost a downward pattern with how it's been, getting rejected, pushing up, and again getting rejected, and making almost like lower highs. So what's going on with TMUS? Again, it's still just consolidating, and it is trying to show signs of an uptrend pattern, but again, not much movement going on there. So it's just a time factor. We just have to wait up, or if you don't feel comfortable like holding it 100%, just cover profits or wherever it is that you are. You should be green based on our call out being at around like 56.50. But yeah. So DGS trying to bounce on the SMA line. It is definitely trying to bounce, but it continues to get rejected by that EMA indicator. So let's make sure that we understand that and we don't try to get in before that, because we run the risk of it continuing to get rejected, breaking the support, and continuing to descend. There we go. Alright. There we go. Nice. Wow, this thing's pushing up pretty nicely. So Andrew, there's a link in the Learn Plan Profit Discord chat. In the announcement section, you can scroll up, and there's a section for the ETF section. I explained it in the course on how it is that I find everything it is that I use for these ETFs. So please be sure to complete the entire course and understand everything it is that I've already explained before asking some FAQs if you can, please. As of right now, I mean, Gush is still the one that's trying to show signs of an uptrend intraday. But if you see this, breaking below the middle view up and stuff like that, then it does make sense on why maybe Drip can be a good potential day trade. But as of right now, I still think that it's kind of iffy. So we probably are going to have Gush trying to bounce right on this price point, and if it doesn't and it gets rejected, then that's in favor of Drip. So we can take that into consideration. Looks like DGAS ended up breaking its support. Horizontal support almost here. It's not showing any signs of a reversal just yet, but it's at a common support area. But again, with the three straight stages of a reversal, right now this is still in the rejection phase. It's not even consolidating. It's still showing signs of lower lows, and as of right now, I just wouldn't find it to be an active good potential trade for the day. I hope that makes sense. Here we go. So come on, Kevin. You can't be asking these specific questions. So where is a good buy for JNUG, would you say? That's not something that we ask. You're asking me where is it that you should buy for JNUG. So if you're asking that question, then you you might want to dedicate a little bit more time to understand the pattern and understand if the stock itself or the ETF itself is being overbought or oversold. So overall for JNUG, and that's just not something that you might be thinking because it's actively pushing up that it can be a good buy. Again, it's still very early to tell, and you need to become familiar with the overall pattern. And if you're not, then you don't understand if you're getting a good buy or a good sell. So then you shouldn't be buying it. So I would invest a little bit more time to understand the patterns of when it's a good time to buy and when it's a good time to sell, and that is something that we've explained in the course as well. All right, sweet. 100%. Yep, did see it back at previous support. I like that. Nice. Thanks again, Austin, for following up. Oh. All right, I'm gonna go in with, and again, this could be way too early, so 100% please do not follow. But I'm gonna go in with 250 shares. Around the 210. Oh, there it goes. Broke the support. Okay, I'm gonna wait off a little bit. Maybe around $29. There we go. All right. I like them both, but obviously, yeah, we do have a little bit more structure within these live streams, so it makes it a little bit easier to communicate with the people that are asking questions. All right, Kevin. I hope you didn't take that to offense when I asked you to not ask those specific questions. The whole idea behind that was just to encourage people to do their own due diligence. So if you want to dedicate a little bit more time to understand the actual pattern itself, then 100% that makes sense. You guys see that huge sell-off that it just had? So I got filled. Well, let's see this. So with something like, let me just explain to you like this. So for example, this thing is showing signs of an uptrend pattern, and it continues to push up, make higher highs, and then pull back, and then doesn't go as low as it did before. I just got filled at 29.05, right? So with that understanding, if this thing pulls back all the way down to 20, even 28.80, I still wouldn't cut losses because I understand that that is part of its pattern. But if I didn't know that and I see that it broke below the the $29 support or the bottom VWAP, I might be scared due to the understanding that it might continue to trend down. So that's why it's so important for you to become familiar with the pattern that it is that you're investing in, so you understand the characteristic of that specific stock. So when it comes down to, if it ends up for whatever reason, pulling back and it's just a pullback and not a break of pattern, then you don't cut losses, because there is a difference from a pullback and an actual break of pattern, and we want to make sure that you understand that. All right, up $15. So 29.05. Yeah, okay. %, Leo. So you're saying that you like LABD, but very volatile when it moves. 100%. If that's not something that you are comfortable with, then I encourage you to not even take a position. There is absolutely nothing wrong with watching. So let's do this. If you see value, so Gush just broke above 39.91. So congrats to all those that are in Gush, just making new highs. Again, be very close to breaking above $40 and showing signs of a pretty solid uptrend. I want you guys to understand two things. We called it out because of the potential bounce that it has due to the previous pattern on why it can be a potential swing trade, bouncing right around the SMA indicator, right? Does that make sense that it normally bounces at around this area? It doesn't mean that it has to. It just means that it has a pretty consistent pattern doing that. So with that understanding, it might do that as it pulls back and then, potentially bounces at this area. One thing that we can wait out for is, a break of above 40, or we can wait for the break above the EMA to get a little bit more of a solid confirmation that it's not going to get rejected. But until then, I would treat it more as a day trade, as it's still, trending below the 180-day. If it starts to actively trade above and it's showing signs of, full-on recovery, then I 100% understand why it is that you might want to, swing trade it. But as of right now, it's doing a pretty good job trading in between the top VWAP and the middle VWAP. Let's just make sure that we take that into consideration. It just hit the top VWAP. Yes, it might hit highs of maybe 40.10, but then most likely it's going to get rejected and bounce around this general area. So let's understand the pattern, how it is that it's trading, and if we want to day trade it or swing trade it. What's going on, Roche? How you doing? I personally don't like this company, but just based on preference, you can see the overall SMA indicator previously acting as a resistance. It's broken above the SMA before. It just doesn't do a very good job holding because it becomes a little bit more on the overbought side. And you can see signs of this curling pattern, right? Curling, right? So it would make sense on why the MACD would start to continue to descend. The RSI showed an overextended. The overall pattern showing signs of potential rejection at around the SMA line. I want you to ask yourself, Michael, does it make sense on why this thing would get rejected more than it would push up based on previous patterns? Sweet. Happy to hear that. So again, a lot of consolidation happening right now. No signs of an uptrend just yet, and I'm telling you that as I'm still currently invested in it. No signs of an uptrend just yet. It's still trending below the intraday, EMA line, and that's why we want to keep a close eye on it. Again, showing signs of a potential rejection. So that's exactly what it is that we're waiting for to break. I like the MACD, starting to show signs of it making a smaller bar starting to curve back in, which is in favor of the pattern that I'm investing in. But as of right now, no signs of an uptrend, still getting rejected, and it's still trading in below the middle view up. So just know that there's a risk within that of, because it's trading below that. So congrats to all those in Gush. Also watch out for this SMA line, that it might act as a previous resistance. So you guys are killing it. Congrats on that. So UAL showing signs of a pretty solid pullback. It's just so Mark, what's going on, my man? So just ask yourself, like, are you getting a good deal, right, with UAL right now? Looking at the low points, right? It's pretty simple to see. The low points at $66. So again, forget about trying to take a trade today. Forget about all that stuff. Just focus on, you know, the deal part, right? Are you getting a good deal on where it normally bounces at, or are you getting closer to the resistance? Yes, you can try to get in right now, and yes, it does have this margin to cover, around 3.58%, and I get that. That might be attractive, but the higher that it becomes, or the higher it is, the more of a risk that it ends up becoming, right? So with that understanding, yes, I do see value in this like short-term swing trade, but you also just, if you do see value in it, just understand that if it starts to pull back and then breaks below the the SMA line, that you're quick to cutting losses. So as long as you have that idea in the back of your head, I'm all for whatever it is that you want to end up doing. So I just want to make sure that you focus on, again, ensuring that you understand that you're getting a good deal. And if you still want to take a position and still think that the deal is okay, then just be sure to understand the overall pattern and what would cause a break of pattern so you could quickly cut losses and manage that risk. Yep, there we go. Wing starting to show signs of that uptrend pattern, approaching. Yep, definitely breaking above that 180-day EMA. Okay, perfect. Okay, I see, because your call out is from 66 to 71, and it does make a lot of sense. So I definitely do see value in it. So let's just set our alerts on this, and let's make sure that we follow up with it. So here we go. I'll set those alerts, and then we could follow up with that, and I'll add this to my general watch list. So JNUG definitely pushing up and showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Definitely looks a little bit overextended, but it's doing its thing. So we got USLV. We called it out when it was at middle VWAP again, making new highs on the day. So a little bit over 1% margins there that it's covered. Right now we got DAL showing signs of a little bit of a pullback, a lot of consolidation between the middle VWAP and bottom VWAP for DGAS, which isn't that attractive. And it has a natural gas report today. Again, we called out the rejection right around the SMA line on where it's a good time to sell. So be aware of that, and maybe a potential bounce right around the EMA or the middle VWAP, which would be a little bit more attractive, but I don't think it might actually get there. So LABD with that solid sell-off, and again, this is why it's so important to understand that it was getting rejected by this overall resistance right here, right? So I called out that watch out for the rejection right here. Although I ended up taking a position, you guys have to understand that it doesn't mean that it's a good buy at that price point. The reason that I took only 250 shares, if you guys do the math, that's only a fraction of what I normally take. Why is it that I did that? Because I know I was getting in a little bit before the confirmation, and I just wanted to get my foot in the game. So with that understanding, now that I know it's at this general area of around 2880, this is normally where it tends to bounce at again with this upward staircase pattern. It 100% does not mean that it actually has to bounce though, right? So with that understanding, it could still continue to get rejected and shoot all the way down to like $29 for all we know. But what I'm gonna do is that it's showing a buy right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another 250 shares with a limit buy around 228.84. And we'll keep it simple, right? Again, I got my foot in the door here, but this is ideally where it tends to reverse at. So let's make sure that we take that into consideration. And I don't have to get filled, right? I absolutely don't have to get filled. The really cool thing about this is I can drag and drop this. So if it ends up breaking above like, the EMA line and I want to buy more here, I can 100% do that. So I'm just going to cancel this. There we go, and it's starting to show more signs of an uptrend, so that's great. That's much more attractive than where it was when it was pulling back. But the whole idea of me explaining this is for you guys to understand the pattern that I'm investing in, right? And I saw that it was pulling back. I wanted to get some skin in the game just in case it didn't pull back as aggressively all the way down to 28.80. And you guys remember me talking about that price point? And I also did that position size entry, right? I took a fraction of what I normally enter with, and then I went in, right? And then as it pulls back a little bit more, and then it reverses back up, then I can add more to my position, confirming that uptrend. So I would just be aware of the natural gas report as of right now. Does you guys look like a strong hold? Explain to me on the pattern and why it is that you do see value in that, and kind of go based off of that. That's what I would find a little bit more attractive, rather than just saying that it's a strong hold. Like, what indication do you have that it's a strong hold? Yeah, do you get charged a fee every time that you take a position? Yeah, I get charged $4.95. I have reduced commission fees, just like I encourage everyone, to call TD Ameritrade, and you can tell them that you want to pay $4.95 per commission or per trade. So yeah, I do get charged every time that I take a position. All right, guys, but we're getting a little bit closer to, we're about at that 40-minute mark. Give it a after itself. So after the sell-off earnings, okay. So BBY after the sell-off, it's a huge sell-off. Let's look at this. Okay, it makes sense. I'm gonna set my alert for when it begins to recover because as of right now, there's a lot of hype behind the overall reversal. Yeah. Wow. And do you guys see how quick it bounced right now for LABD? So it literally, yeah, that was too quick. It was right now at 28. 84 or 86, and then just ended up just breaking above 29. So waiting for the break above that, and if it starts to trend up, then great, I can add more to my position there. So Steinmart, way overextended. Like Farad, can't you see that this is way overextended? Like, why would this be a good deal, right? Way overextended. You could see that. The reason that you're probably bringing this up is due to its day today, 14.37%. The day doesn't matter because you weren't able to capitalize on this because all this happened during pre-market hours, right? During extended hours. So it's irrelevant to you. You focus on the pattern and see if it's still a good deal for the opportunity that presents itself intraday. And as of right now, if you would be buying right now, again, you'd be buying at the very peak of the overall price point. Looking at the overall 180-day analysis, you can see that it's definitely overextended. So I definitely do see why it is that you brought it up, but let's just be a little bit more aware of the big picture and understand that it had its earnings, acted as a direct catalyst for the overall price value, right? And because of that, it becomes a little bit more on the overbought side. So not such a good deal. So Evan, I grew up, I started with Fidelity, and I like the interactive broker with TD Ameritrade. So it's just preference. I just started using it. There's no reason why. All right, guys, I'm going to answer about 2 more questions, and then I'm going to head on out. I really, really don't feel good right now, and I think I need to take some medicine. So when trying to exit position went up, I usually try to get out with a limit sell. Sometimes it doesn't get filled, and I end up chasing it down and losing some profits. Is that better to use a stop loss out? No, Cody, I would encourage you to become familiar with level 2. That's something that I explained in the course, and if I could see where people are buying and selling and I want to get out, I could automatically sell right now at 367 if I wanted to get out and if I had a position on SMRT, and sell at that price point. So because of that, if anytime that you want to get out, then be sure to sell with a limit order on wherever it is that your ask is at. Because your bid is where people are trying to sell, your ask is where people are asking to buy. Let's make sure that we understand that. Thanks, Ricky, killing it with USLV. Amazing. Let's just make sure that we keep it consistent and that we understand that USLV as of right now, there's definitely a lot more upside potential. There is no break of pattern. But Jared, I know that you probably already know this. If it starts to trade below overall like 1020 and it starts to pull back, let's make sure that we're quick at covering profits because that would be a break of pattern. So, yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you again. You sounded bad yesterday. Chad, my man, it's telling me that I sound bad. Oh. And getting rejected by this overall EMA. Just trying to be patient, trying to wait for the overall reversal. So I could see the buyers here, sellers here, right? Could try to move it up a little bit more. So grandma says rest and lots of liquid. All right, yeah, filled 100%. The only thing is that I have two meetings at 10:30 and then 11. So I'll have to get some rest and do all that before that time, and then we should be good. So again, just guys, be aware of the natural gas report that's going to come out in about, what is that, 17 minutes. Based on previous patterns, again, it doesn't mean that it's going to, but it just means that based on previous patterns, D-gas is the one that usually gets rejected, and then U-gas is the one that usually pumps up. So let's just make sure that we take that into consideration. And if you have any active position, that you're aware of that. You guys do what it is that you guys please. I'm just here to plant the seed that that usually tends to happen. But yeah, so hey Ricky, what car did you get? What's going on, Don? So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but we ended up buying a car yesterday for a flip, and we're picking up the one that we bought last week today as well. Where Justin's probably gonna pick it up just because I probably don't have I'm probably not gonna be able to just because I'm sick. So. Yeah, yesterday, I'll just tell you guys since you guys are part of a Long Plan Profit. Yesterday, I bought a 2015 GTR. Normal value for that car, and you guys can search it up, 2015 with less than 30,000 miles. Sells for anywhere from around $67,000 on the low end, all the way up to maybe like $75,000. And this is a stage 2, so it has a really good, aftermarket, performance and exhaust and just a bunch of full-on bolt-ons. And I was able to buy it for 63,000. So regardless of even a stock one would sell for easy 67,000. I was able to buy it for 63, so I built that margin for myself. And then today I partnered up with Justin on this one, and we were able to pick up. And this is the funny thing is a 2008 Audi R8, and they normally sell for about $60,000 to $68,000 within our area. And the lowest priced one in our area in Arizona sells for 66,000. With like 64,000 miles. Guys, remember the R8 that I had for 48 hours? We just bought it back, and we bought it for, I don't even know if we could say, but $51,000 is what we bought it for. So I originally bought it for 56, sold it for 61.5, and then bought it back for 51, and then now planning on selling it. So yeah. And again, I thought I was done buying all these cars, but the whole idea of them were to buy them and sell them for a good deal, and we definitely got a really good deal on them. So yeah, nice twin Gutierrez. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. I don't have an Instagram. I'm about to make one, I guess. My man Don, what are you doing not on Instagram? Just kidding. Yeah, so I think BNet is having a pullback. I did see that. BNet is on this 180-day chart 100%. But do you see that how the pattern is still relevant, right? It did hit that resistance at 650, which makes sense. Just look at what I would encourage you to do is anytime that you take a position on something and you're having a difficult time asking yourself if it's pulling back or if it's breaking its pattern. Just look at the previous times as it started to actively trend up. The characteristic of that stock, if it just shot straight up, or if it pulled up and then pulled back, if it pulled up and then pulled back and then pulled up and then pulled back, and then ask yourself, is this out of its character to do what it is that it's doing? So very simple. You just do another analysis and to see what it is that it's doing and see if it can if there's a breakout pattern or a pullback. That's funny, Don. Yeah, so I'm just gonna talk to you guys about my plan and then I'll head on out. So my plan right now for LABD is a day trade, right? I plan to sell anywhere around 29.20 to 29.40, just due to previous patterns as of yesterday. I do know that, I did see that it hit highs of 29.50, and although that would be nice, I don't want to get too greedy, right, with that. So that's ideally my sell point. I'm probably going to buy a little bit more shares when it breaks above the middle VWAP. I'll buy another 250. And then my average should be based on where I purchased that, my initial purchase and stuff like that. My average should be right around like maybe 29.05 or 29.10. And then after that, I could plan to sell around 29.30 to 29.40, and that would be my exit price point. Also, again, I do have that reassurance that it does still have that like swing trade potential, so I don't run a huge risk with that. But yeah, that's really just it. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys again for your time. I'm going to keep you guys up to date with my overall position. Just be sure to set those alerts just so we know how it is that it's trading with whatever it is that we want to keep a very close eye out for. If you don't see value in anything today, don't force it. I did see value again in like that Gush color, and Gush just pulled back quite a bit. That's pretty nice, and it's trying to push right back up again. I know that it might be a little bit difficult, especially if you're just getting started, to kind of take that first position. One thing or one area of opportunity that I would encourage you to do is maybe just take and buy one share, especially if you're using the Robinhood platform and you want to trade with your money. Just buy one share and treat it like if you bought 1,000 shares. Treat it like it's real money and like you are fully invested, and try to make the most out of it. So just keep it consistent, focus on the quality, ask yourself every single time, are you getting a good deal and do you understand the pattern? And after you answer that, just be real with yourself. Don't sell yourself the stock. Just focus on the pattern, and don't focus on just trying to get in every day. Just even if you end up taking 1 or 2 positions for the entire week, let's focus on that quality. And even if you end up closing the week with 1 or 2 trades and 3% growth, then that is something that a lot of people can't still do. 95% of the market and getting the ball rolling and staying green. So I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Thursday. I'm going to try to catch up on some rest. I'm going to set my alert to respond to a couple of Discord messages, and then I'll take like a 30-minute power nap. So appreciate your guys' time and everything that you guys do. There we go. So up 62.50 so far on the day. So not bad. My current average price right now, just so you guys know, is 28.97. So when I add more to my position, my average will be probably closer to 29.10. So thank you guys again for your time. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. And yep, that's really just it. So enjoy the rest of your day, team. Thank you again.